Welcome to English Story World, the podcast that will take your English from okay to good and from good to great. Today's story is for advanced learners. The name of the story is Doggo and Kitty Tear Their Trousers. Okay, so listen and enjoy. Part 1. Once upon a time, there was a dog and cat called Doggo and Kitty. Doggo was a very handsome dog, and Kitty was a charming and gorgeous cat. The pair of them lived together in a little cottage next to a forest, and unlike most dogs and cats, they got on very well. We have seen how Doggo and Kitty did their laundry, so we now know that Doggo and Kitty are very good at doing the housework. And there were always so many things to do. In fact, there was so much to do that Doggo and Kitty often sat around thinking about where to start, and then got distracted by a piece of cheese or a mouse. At any rate, the day after they did their laundry was Sunday, and Sunday is a day of rest. That morning, Doggo pushed his nose through the window, saw that the sun was shining bright and cheerful, and said, "Kitty, it is a gorgeous day. Let's take advantage of the sunshine and go to the forest. What else could one do on a day like this?" "I completely agree," said Kitty. "And what luck! We have done our laundry, and now we can wear our nice clean clothes to go out." So they dressed up in their finest clothes and headed outside. "Oh, how I wish I had a parasol," said Kitty. "The bright sun hurts my eyes so, and I would be such a pretty little kitty with a parasol. I am quite sure nobody has seen such a pretty kitty before." "It won't do you any harm to get a bit of sun," said Doggo. "We've been trapped inside all winter, and you're looking quite pale. Yes, some sun will do you good." And Doggo was right for once. During the winter they sat by the fire and played games, and some days they didn't see the sun at all. Still, Kitty did not like being criticized on her appearance, so she bit back. "Well," said Kitty, "you should see how you look. Your ears are completely uneven, one sticking up and one hanging down. It's quite unacceptable to walk around with uneven ears." "Oh dear," said Doggo, not realizing that Kitty was trying to hurt his feelings. "Thank you for letting me know, Kitty." Doggo adjusted his ears to make them presentable, and they continued on their way. While they walked, they spoke about what they would do in the forest. Oh, what fun they would have! They were going to play all sorts of games, like hide and seek, which was Kitty's favorite. Doggo always lost. He would hide in a bush or a tree, but his ears always stuck out, making him quite easy to find. As they walked, they came past a bush with a rabbit inside. When the rabbit turned and saw Doggo, he burst out laughing. "Ha ha," said the rabbit, "look at that ridiculous dog. He has one ear sticking up and the other hanging down. Just like this." And the rabbit moved his ears to imitate Doggo's. Doggo's mouth fell open in surprise. He checked his ears, and sure enough, they were uneven again. "That nasty little rabbit is laughing at you," cried Kitty. Doggo got angry and chased after the rabbit. He jumped into the bush, but the clever little creature was far faster than him and easily ran away. "Oh, there are so many thorns in this bush," cried Doggo, picking some out of his paws. I should never have chased after that stupid rabbit. Did those thorns really hurt you, Doggo? Said Kitty. Or are you just looking for sympathy? Yes, you're right. It didn't really hurt. Doggo sorted out his ears and they continued on their way. A few minutes later, they bumped into some of the children who lived on the other side of the forest. Hello, Doggo and Kitty, said the children. Since it's such a lovely sunny day, we all decided to go for a stroll in the forest. Great minds think alike, said Kitty, proud of herself for using one of the phrases that the adults used. You're both dressed up nicely, said the children. But, oh no, they started giggling. Doggo quickly checked his ears, but they were even. So whatever was the matter? Look, boys. Look, girls. Doggo has torn his trousers. What? Said Doggo. Kitty, the dear children say that I have a tear in my trousers. Could you look and see? Doggo didn't want to bend down and look himself, in case he tore them even more. So Kitty took a good long look at Doggo's trousers, and then said, I'm afraid it's true, Doggo. Your trousers have a big tear in them. That must have happened when I ran into that bush with all the thorns, said Doggo. Oh, I can't believe I've torn my nicest trousers. It's a crying shame. But Kitty, perhaps you have a needle and thread? I'm afraid I don't. But don't worry, Doggo. I'm sure we'll find something on the way, a piece of string or something like that. So they said goodbye to the children, who were still laughing and pointing at Doggo, and continued on their way. Hey, take a look over there, said Doggo. I see something. There, lying on the ground, was a little worm, taking a nap in the afternoon sun. It was quite content, lying in the sun's rays, and it was confident that it was so small that nobody could see it. But it hadn't taken into account that there might be a dog searching for a piece of string. It's something long, thin and straight, said Doggo. Why, I think it's a pencil. Hearing Doggo's deep voice, the worm woke up. When it saw the huge dog leaning over it, it had a fright and curled up into a circle. No, Doggo, that's no pencil, said Kitty. Pencils can't curl up into a circle. It must be a piece of string. What luck! I can use it to mend your trousers. And with that, Kitty picked up the worm and tied it in a knot to close the tear in Doggo's trousers. The poor little worm could do nothing to stop her. Fantastic, said Doggo. Now nobody can laugh at me. They continued on their way and spoke about all the places they would hide in later when they played hide-and-seek. The worm listened and waited, and once it had recovered from its initial shock, it said to itself, I'm no piece of string. I'm a lovely little worm. And, moving slowly so as not to bring attention to itself, it unraveled itself. Meanwhile, Doggo and Kitty came across one of their friends, Clucky the chicken. Hello, Clucky, said Doggo and Kitty. Hello, Doggo and Kitty. Doggo, look out. There is something on your leg. Ooh, it's a worm. Being a chicken, Clucky loved to eat worms, so she pecked at Doggo's leg and tried to eat it. Luckily for the worm, it had just finished unraveling itself, and it fell off and ran away before Clucky could catch it. "How unusual," said Clucky. "It was climbing out of a hole in your trousers, as if it had been snacking on it." "I didn't know worms ate trousers, but that's just one more reason for me to eat them. Shame I couldn't catch it. Then he really would have learned his lesson." "Yes, what a shame," said Doggo. But secretly he was relieved that Clucky hadn't caught the worm, as he hated violence. "Oh, Doggo," said Kitty, looking at his trousers again. "Once again your lovely trousers are torn. That thing that ran away was not a worm, but the string I used to mend them." "No way," said Clucky. "That was a worm, no doubt about it. String doesn't wriggle and curl up like that. But there's no need to worry, Doggo. I can't mend your trousers myself, but if you follow this path along, you'll come to a house where a seamstress works, and she can mend your trousers for you." So they said goodbye to Clucky and continued on their way to the seamstress house. When she saw Doggo's trousers, she was shocked. "Wow, that's a big tear," said the seamstress. "But Sunday is a day of rest, so I don't really feel like working. I'll tell you what, if you help me out with a little problem, I'll mend your trousers for you. See, a family of mice has moved into my kitchen, and they're quite annoying, always stealing food and squeaking in the night. If you get rid of them, I'll mend your trousers. But you mustn't drink the milk or eat the biscuits laid out on the table. Those are for me. It's my Sunday treat." Doggo and Kitty agreed to catch the mice and promised to leave the milk and biscuits. The seamstress showed them to the kitchen, and all the mice ran away and hid in their holes. "Here's the plan," said Kitty. "I'll go outside, and you stand in front of their holes, Doggo." So Doggo stood guard outside the mice's holes. Kitty went outside and loudly said, "Yay, there's a dog inside with one ear sticking up and the other hanging down. And not only that, he also has a big tear in his trousers. How funny he looks. You can't help but laugh at him." The mice, who loved nothing more than a good laugh, ran out of their holes to see this funny-looking dog. And then, of course, Doggo jumped on them and caught them under his paw. "Oh no," cried the mice. "Are you going to eat us?" "Oh, you do look so silly, but it's not worth dying for." "You're very lucky," said Doggo, "that I hate violence. But you must leave the seamstress house and never come back." The mice promised to never return and ran away, giggling to themselves about Doggo's trousers. "Fantastic work," said the seamstress, walking back into the kitchen. "A bit unusual, but it got the job done. Now, let me have a look at those trousers." So the seamstress mended the tear in Doggo's trousers, and then she invited them to stay for milk and biscuits, and Doggo and Kitty couldn't say no to that, could they? The biscuits were quite delicious. Afterwards, they walked home through the forest. In the end, they were too tired to play hide-and-seek, but they slept very well, although Doggo's ears were uneven throughout the night. Thank you for watching, and if you're feeling generous, you can buy me a coffee by clicking the link in the description.